But our first name instead, Bo, is Antonio Brown. Because according to Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Steelers were close to finalizing a trade with the Bills when Brown indicated he would not report to Buffalo if traded there. Are you surprised by how much power Antonio Brown seemed to exercise here?
No, who would be surprised by this? The man that just did an interview in his palatial Florida estate explaining that he doesn't need football, he just plays because he wants to. Am I surprised that he said, I don't want to go to Buffalo? No, zero surprise whatsoever in that. Now, I would assume that there would be something in place to make it costly prohibitive for him to just say, I'm not going to show up here. But no, if he had any daylight whatsoever to stop from going to Buffalo, hell no, I ain't surprised he used it.
But man, can you imagine Antonio Brown in Buffalo catching passes or trying to catch passes from Josh Allen? Because for all of the Mr. Big Chestiness that Antonio Brown has established in the recent days, he still is like the most precise and maybe best route runner in football. And just the idea of Josh Allen trying to throw the football over them mountains while this guy is just like, I am right here. I miss that. Yeah,
that would have been fun to see here. Could Josh Allen, because look, you could put it here, and I don't know if Antonio Brown's best days are ahead of him, behind him, whatever. I'm inclined to think that they are behind. However, if Josh Allen couldn't figure out how to get the ball to Antonio Brown, that would be a staggering indictment on him. And who would be the first person to indict him? That guy right there. That's the grand jury.
Yes. And Antonio Brown, he has power here because he has the ability to make things messy. He has the ability to just not show up. And I think, yes, football, sports in general, we're realizing they did operate under a certain presumption of etiquette. And Antonio Brown is willing to break the etiquette.
But it's not about a presumption of etiquette, it's a presumption of the contract, right? This idea that guys don't necessarily want to show up where they've been traded, we've seen this come up all over the place. It just appears that where this got messed up was trade seemed to be almost done before they talked to Drew Rosenhaus about this, at which point then they did have a measure of power. Then they could talk about, well, maybe we need to redo this contract in order to make this happen. All of these things then came into play. And this isn't so much about him flexing it. His agent was going to be the guy to flex this, if nobody else.
Yes, and Drew Rosenhaus reportedly had asked to be involved in leading the search for a new home. He wanted to have that job, and the Steelers, it seems, did not allow him to do so. But now it turns out that he's going to be essential anyway. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers are operating in good faith here, Bo, and they're trying to find a home for Antonio Brown, it does seem like the agent would have to be key to that process.
Well, yeah, I understand where the Steelers are coming from with their idea that we're not going to let you go find the trade partner. We're going to be the ones to determine that. But they also had to know you got a high-maintenance character involved in this, and you were going to have to involve him in some way just to find out if he'd kind of sort of be okay with it. You had to clue him in there, right?
Well, do you think there's any scared straight to this? Do you think there's anything to the Steelers basically doing this deal or getting as close as they could just to signal to him that this may not go the way you want, and therefore, do you then actually want to return with us?
Well, maybe. I guess that is possible. I don't know if they've thought it out this far, but I do think that they're going to need to consider the possibility that if what they want is a number one to get him, then he might be coming back. And if he is coming back, is everybody going to be able to find a way to live with everybody if that happens? This they have to be concerned with, unless they're willing to have a fire sale, right? Unless they're at the point that the Raiders were at with Randy Moss where they gave him away for a fourth-round pick. Are they willing to do that?
Right, and is Antonio Brown now realizing, okay, Big Ben at the very least isn't Josh Allen?